Hey, que Pasa Calexico. Welcome back to the podcast. Like always, before we begin, I want to thank a couple of people. I want to thank my friends Sergio and Jake for sponsoring the podcast. I also want to thank Dylan Castillo from Castillo Bookkeeping Services. If you're in need of any bookkeeping services, you may contact them at 760-960-7601 or via email at acas1025@yahoo.com. And finally, I want to thank David Gastelum. If you're thinking of buying a home in Imperial in the San Diego counties, make sure you contact David at 760-235-9576. He's not only a realtor, but an investor with over 20 years of experience, and he'll teach you along the way in one of the most important investments of your life. Also want to thank our essential workers and everybody out there that's working, and our first responders. It's we're going through some hard times, but without these guys, things would be a lot harder. So I really want to thank nurses, doctors, our supermarket stock employees, everybody that's working, that are making our lives a little bit better in these hard times. Today's guest is the CEO of the Brawley Chamber of Commerce, and in these hard times, she's also taking a role in the lead role in the Imperial Valley Business Recovery Task Force. My guest today is Katie B. Luna. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for, I know you're kind of busy, you're doing your mom thing, and you're out, and like I said, this is my first episode where I'm interviewing somebody that's, out in like,
in a park.
Yeah. Thank you for taking the time. I know it's kind of hard, but thank you for taking the time.
Yes, thank you for having me. And if you hear my kids in the background, much like much of our workforce today, I am a working mom, and I have two small kids. And like most of our Imperial County residents, we do have to come to San Diego for healthcare needs from time to time. So we took a break in the park this afternoon to be with you here on the podcast. So thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
No, thank you. I know I mentioned you're the CEO for the Brawley Chamber of Commerce, and you're taking on this new role, but I know besides that, you're more than that. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself? How you are. I think you're not from the Valley, right? You're not.
Well, I am 10 years now in the Valley, and I feel very much at home, though I am originally from LA. I was born and raised in LA, and I have been in the Valley 10 years. My husband is from El Centro, born and raised, and Southwest High School. And so he has brought me down to the Valley, and I fell in love with it from the first time I visited back in 2008. And so I came down to the Valley with experience in the private sector, and I found myself with my degree in business administration with a concentration in entrepreneurship and business consulting. I found myself right at home at the Imperial Valley Small Business Development Center, and then a few years later at the Brawley Chamber of Commerce. I have a small business background, family business background. My father's owned a plumbing company for, nearly 30, 40 years now, and we grew up in family business. It has a special place in my heart for family business and the struggle small businesses go through. And so my personal mission is to help small businesses through this pandemic as best as they can, as best as I can, as best as they can. There's lots of resources for them, and I want to make sure that I do my best to connect them to resources.
Cool. Tell us a little bit about the Imperial Valley Business Recovery Task Force. How did this come about?
Well, early on in March, when we started seeing the pandemic hit our area, we knew that we needed a platform for our resource agencies to come together and be able to exchange information quickly. Everything was happening so quickly from day to day. There's changes and new regulations, and regulations would change from one day to the next, and governor would change his mind from one day to the next. And so what we have in the Imperial County is a unique set of agencies that are designed specifically to help the small business community and large business too, but we do focus on the small business community. That is the Imperial Valley Small Business Development Center, the Chambers of Commerce, Brawley Chamber of Commerce being one of them, El Centro Chamber of Commerce. So we have Chambers of Commerce in the Valley. We have the Imperial Valley Economic Development Corporation, and the Imperial County Workforce Development all of us came together knowing that it would be beneficial for us to communicate daily or as often as we could with information as things were changing. And so recognizing that need was a matter of, just gathering everyone together and saying, what can we do? Now is the time for us to be on the front line of economy, recovery. What can we do? And so that's how we got started.
Cool. Yeah, and it was kind of, I work in education. I'm a computer technician for Calexico Unified School District, and it's super hard to kind of like digest it or like even disperse information when like in reality like nobody knows, like day by day like things are changing. So it was a great idea to like kind of like unify it and share ideas and kind of like brainstorm a way on how to make sure that everybody knows where, because even like right now, like we don't even like, we're like in between stages, like we're not really like in a stage, like it's super weird like how things are changing, because right now we're like in between stage 1 and 2A. I think like we're like some businesses are open but only
so we're technically, according to the governor, we're still in stage 1. We've sort of never left stage 1. We're I believe now the only county in the state that has not met the basic criteria in order to move forward with reopening the economy. As you guys might have heard, that the governor allowed for salons and barbershops to open across California, and unfortunately Imperial County wasn't able to take advantage of that because we hadn't met the basic criteria. And so one of the things that has come up through this process is sort of the notion that if you're supporting the small business community the way that we do as business advocates and advocates for businesses to be able to sustain themselves, the notion has been that we're prioritizing business over safety and lives. And that has not been the case at all from the beginning of this project with the Imperial Valley Business Recovery Task Force. Our goal, number one, first and foremost, is the health and safety of everyone. And so we make it our goal to ensure that every business has all the information, all the guidelines. They have access to protective equipment, access to sanitizers and all that stuff for the customers. We do everything in our power to make sure that the businesses are equipped to keep their employees safe and their customers safe. At the end of the day, having a healthy economy is dependent on having a healthy workforce, a healthy customer base. And if people in the community are not healthy, the economy can't be healthy. So we know that ultimately, business, when you look at the small business community, it's us, it's our friends, it's our relatives, it's people we know. It's not strangers. It's not some big corporate office out in the Midwest. Our small business community is made up of people we know, and we want to protect them. But at the same time, we have to realize that a lot of the businesses, while they do qualify for resources such as the Paycheck Protection Program, not all of them were able to qualify, and many of them had since run out of funding to be able to sustain the business. So having a healthy life also is making sure that you have the income to feed your families and keep the roof over your head. And so there's a lot of aspects to this pandemic that we have been working on from so many different angles. And so we value health, we value the customers and the employees. And I want to put that out there because I don't want anyone to mistake our pro-business assistance for lack of caring for individuals and their lives.
Yeah, I think that was one of the biggest, things you heard when people were pushing for businesses to stay open or to reopen, was that, people were valuing, money over people's lives. How do you, how are you helping, some of these businesses that aren't able to get like PPP,
the Paycheck Protection or the Emergency Injury Disaster Loan?
How are you helping these businesses to, fill out any paperwork or applications? Are you guys helping them?
Yeah, so fortunately, we have in our task force, we have the Small Business Development Center. And the Small Business Development Center is unique in that it has business consultants who assist businesses with processes such as that, filling out paperwork for financing. And so if a business were not able to qualify for the PPP, which we did have quite a few in our county that didn't, we would help them with the economic injury disaster loan, or we would look at other financing options through traditional avenues such as a bank. We were fortunate enough that the Imperial County has released additional grant funding, or I would say short-term loan funding, and hopefully it's a forgivable grant if you follow all the rules for it. And so we've had lots of opportunities for businesses to secure funding options if they had not qualified for that initial Paycheck Protection Program that was available.
Another thing, a lot of businesses, had never, had a budget for PPE. And, now that it's something that, because of the situation we're in, it's something that, a lot of businesses are going to have to plan for. But right now it's also really hard to get because everybody wants PPE, like to have their employees, be wearing masks or, sanitize things. Are you guys also helping them have access to it, like whether it's financially or just like having that resource available? Because like I said, even for the school district, I know it's been hard for them to, get masks or get disinfectants. Like, how are you guys, helping that process for them?
Great question. And so we have been following sort of this story that has unfolded with protective equipment. And in the beginning, it was difficult to find. It was scarce. And what we saw was a ramp up of production from companies. And so we're not finding it too difficult now to find on the industrial level sanitizers and masks and that sort of thing. While, it's still hard to go to the store and find Clorox wipes. So if anyone finds any, think of me. But for the businesses, they're able now to purchase like hand sanitizers and masks and whatnot that have been mass produced since production has ramped up. And so what we've done is the state's actually done a really good job of signing up companies to a list. So there's a list of companies that are producing those items. And so we will help a business connect with we'll help a business that's in need connect with one of the businesses that's providing those items. And so we'll use the state resource. We actually have some companies locally that have started, they pivot their whole operation to produce hand sanitizers. One of them we have up in Brawley, it's called Badlands, and they're making mass amounts of sanitizer now. So we have our list of resources, and if a business calls us and says, we just can't find masks, then we'll go ahead and we'll look at that list and we'll connect them to find that resource.
Okay. What are some other resources that you guys are offering local businesses?
Well, it's interesting right now because what we're seeing is sort of for the Valley, it's summer. We're kind of all just waiting to see what's going to happen in the fall. Are we going to be able to move forward? Are we going to take another step back? It's sort of a waiting game. But what we really want to emphasize is for any business that is thinking of not reopening, or like, let's say, our economy in the Valley is seasonal. And so a lot of times during the summer, you'll see restaurants close down, or you'll see some other places of business close down. And so if you're thinking of not reopening in the fall for one reason or another, aside from the fact if you're not allowed to, if you are allowed to and you're thinking of not reopening, or if you are allowed to be open and you're thinking of closing, come talk to us. Let's figure out a path. Let's figure out a path forward that is going to be sustainable and reasonable. Not every decision needs to be, close down or stay open. There's plenty of ways to stay open and minimize operation until we can get through this pandemic. So that's one of the things we've been talking about lately, is because as the longer we're in this stage one and the longer we see this hardship, we're going to see businesses start to fall out. we're going to see our economy fall out. That's what we want to try to avoid. That's really where our agencies that are at the table need to get down into, get down to work and get down in the dirt with the company and really make sure that we are finding every possible way to help that business so that that business can sustain and that there's jobs later on. What we're afraid of is having businesses close, losing the jobs, and then when there's no assistance, federal assistance or state assistance for those who are right now maybe not working and they want to go back to work, if we don't have jobs, it's going to hurt our economy. And so we need to make sure that we do what we can to keep those jobs available for the community.
I know that advertising is also a big event or subject that you guys are kind of like pushing. How are you getting these local businesses or businesses in general, come to you so that you can, because I don't know if you guys are like making a list that you guys are going to start promoting that, oh, these businesses are open. So what's the process for businesses to, be on your watch lists to make sure that people in the community know that they're still open?
Yeah, thanks for that question. We actually just launched a campaign that is called Open for Business. And one of the thoughts that we think right now is businesses are closed. But really, a lot of our businesses are open because they're deemed essential in one way or another. They just changed the way they operate. And so we have put out a campaign, Open for Business. And if your business is open and you want to get listed on our website as Open for Business, we have a survey that you can fill out. You can go to ivbizrecovery.com. You can send us a note through the website. We'll go ahead and list your business with your logo, and we'll link it to either your website or your social media accounts, because we want people to know that you're open. It may look different. It may not be the same as what they're used to. That's okay, but you're open and we want people to know. So we've started compiling on our website a list of businesses that are open. Again, it's ivbizrecovery.com. And if a business wants to get listed, they can leave us a note there, or they can, always contact me at the Brawley Chamber of Commerce.
Okay. Yeah, because you guys have a website. You're also on social media, right? Instagram and Facebook?
Yeah.
Yep. And in terms of the, community, just everyday people, how can they, help or be part of this, movement or this recovery task force?
Support your local businesses. So go out and follow the guidelines that are put forth. No one likes the guidelines. I mean, no one wants to wear the mask. No one wants to stay 6 feet apart, but it's just part of life right now. So let's all work together. Let's do that. Let's follow the guidelines. Let's go out to the businesses and support them. If that means you're going to drive through instead of walking into a restaurant, let's do that. If you're going to, have an order delivered from, a jewelry store or whatnot, let's do that, because we need to support our business community. We need to make sure that we're doing our part in supporting the business community the best that we can from our side of things.
Trying to look at the bright side of this out of the situation. A lot of people are adapting to this new normal about shopping online or placing an order and picking it up. Sometimes I guess like going forward, that's what I'm trying to look at. Like going forward, how do we keep this as part of our businesses? Where like sometimes like you're in a rush and you wanna kind of look at a website and see if they have something on stock and you buy it and you just want to go pick it up. How do you, encourage these local businesses that moving forward, they use this as a normal where they, have their website and, it makes it available for people to kind of like shop online and pick it up. That way, if they're in a hurry, they can just go pick it up. And how are you kind of like promoting like, people to, keep this as a part of their business going forward?
Absolutely. I think one of the things we've learned during this season of our lives is that if you're not online in some capacity, then you're missing out from the business standpoint. We want to make sure that businesses realize that if you're not on social media, if you don't have a website, you can. It's not difficult. It takes time to learn. It takes time to manage it. but if it's done right, it can be very prosperous. And right now it's like a must. It's a must. You have to do that if you want your business to evolve with what's happening. And so what we're seeing right now, whether we like it or not, and everyone has their opinion on the spectrum, but whether we like it or not, right now we're seeing a consumer base that's being conditioned to do more online shopping. I know for me, before all this happened, I never ordered my groceries through an app. And now I will probably never go back to the grocery store. I'll always do it on the app. We're being exposed to things as far as like technology that we've never been exposed to, or we're being forced to use it, and when before we weren't. And so we're reconditioning the way we do things. So going forward, it's going to be critical for all businesses. Jump on a website, get on social media. If you need assistance, we can help you. Chambers of Commerce can help you. The Small Business Development Center can help you. We're here to make it work for you, and it's not a make or break deal. If that's what's stopping you from being successful, we're gonna smash that barrier and make sure you're successful.
Yeah, and it's not that, everybody's gonna stop. Like when we go back to normal, like it's not that people aren't gonna go to your brick and mortar and like shop in person. But sometimes, like I said, sometimes you're in a hurry and like, oh, you know what, I need a birthday present, and you can just go check online, shop,
yep.
Pick it up. But I like visiting brick and mortars and talking to people and see people. So like once we're able to do it, I know that we're gonna do it. But for now, or even for in the future, for those people that might be in a pickle and like might need a shop online on like on the road or whatever, they can do that. So it's a good business idea to like keep in your business. Going forward, when this is all over, we've seen a lot of like these task forces like popping up because of the situation. But do you think that this is gonna be a good idea to keep like, I know every city has their own chamber of commerce, but this kind of like having like a big group where everybody is in touch and talking, like sharing ideas. Do you think that this is gonna be something that we should keep in the future?
Absolutely. We are hoping to keep this task force long after the pandemic is over. It will end one day, and we will be here. The task force will be here, and we do plan on keeping the task force. One of the things that we've learned through this process is the value of communicating openly with our resource partners. And one of the things that we found we didn't even realize we weren't doing enough of was communicating with each other and working together. And we know that our unemployment is one of the highest unemployments on a regular day now, through the pandemic as well. But we have so many economic issues to tackle. It wouldn't make sense for us to get rid of the task force, because there's so much more that we can do after this is over, when we have all these, all the agencies at the table. And so, the chambers of commerce, almost every city has a chamber of commerce, and you ready? Mom duties. But almost every city has a chamber of commerce, and the chambers of commerce are a business association. And we're here to advocate for businesses, and it's always increasingly harder and harder to do business in California. So we're here to advocate on behalf of the businesses, and to provide the businesses an avenue to network with other business professionals and to market their business. We at the Brawley Chamber of Commerce, we take the notion we're a convener, a catalyst, and a champion. We're convener for leaders and influencers, a catalyst for change, and a champion for our community. And that's what we continue to work on. And so if you're not connected with a Chamber of Commerce, and it's probably in your best interest as a business sometime in the future, get connected with the task force, get connected with the Chambers of Commerce, and let's come together and do some good things for your business.
Yeah. You talk a lot about the small business, what's it called? Is that with Meredith?
Yes, Meredith Garcia. She's the executive director for the Small Business Development Center.
Yeah, I actually interviewed her, so I'll put a link below for those people that want to learn a little bit more about the Small Business Development Center. I had a talk with her, and there's a lot of good information. But is there anything, I know that, I want to thank you again for taking this time, because I know that you're on the road and you're with your family. But I really want to thank you for taking this time. But is there anything that I didn't ask you, or we didn't talk about, that you would like to, talk about?
I don't think so. I think we covered a good amount of information, and again, I hope everyone can stay safe. Practice the guidelines that are out there, the social distancing. Don't come together for parties. Don't all that everything you're hearing every day. I know we kind of dismiss it because we've heard it for 4, 5, 6 months now, but it holds true. Wear your mask. Wash your hands. Don't gather with people that don't live in your house. As soon as we can bring our numbers down, we can move forward. We can contain this virus, and we can move forward. And more than anything, I think the one point we are all united on is that we want to move forward in a healthful manner. If we want to get healthy as a community, there's so many health initiatives going on right now. Shout out to Mr. Romero with Comité Cívico de Valle. He's done great work thinking about the health of our community. And right now, first and foremost, we need to bring down the coronavirus in our community. We need to bring down COVID in our community. Wear your mask, wash your hands, don't gather with people that aren't in your household. And let's beat this. Let's beat it together. We can do it. We have to be determined. Yeah. And especially like we're, the cases are slowing down, but, we need to remember that we don't need to get comfortable with this. It's we're, fall is, just around the corner, and that's when we get a lot of like flu cases, or, other, cold that, we might mistake with COVID, and I don't know, just, it's not time to get, relax. We need to, keep doing what we need to do, and hopefully, things get better. We get a vaccine or whatever. But yeah, we need to, take precautions till this is completely over. But and like you said, it's for the good of everybody. Not only the community, but our local businesses that are part of our community. It's a lot of people are our neighbors, our friends, and it might seem like a little bit not corny, but like repetitive, but like, yeah, we are all in this together. Like, we're all part of this, this thing we're going. It's a global thing, not only a community thing. So we need to, work together. Well, Katie, thank you again. I know you're busy with your family, and I really want to thank you for taking this time off. I know we had scheduled it yesterday, but I know that you're super busy, especially with your 2 positions and 3 with being a mom, and I only really want to thank you for your time. Oh, no problem. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for listening. Make sure you visit the website if you're a local business. And sign up for the help and for the information that they have for you guys. And stay safe, wash your hands, wear your mask, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.